What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. It is time for a Snap Count Monday. That's right. We're here the day after a Seahawks game. So now we got to take a look at these snap counts and see what's up, see who's playing, see how much they're playing, see who's not playing. Let's get into it, starting with the offensive side of the ball. You guys know how we do things on Snap Count Monday by now. We're starting with the offense, going to go through it, going to get to the defense by the end of the video, and by the end we'll have an understanding of exactly how much these players are getting on the field. So, offense, let's start with the basics. 70 total snaps. This offense ran 70 total plays against the Patriots. Let's remember that number for a little bit later. 70. And of those 70 plays, Zach Charbonnet was on the field for 67 of them. 67 of them. You don't see running backs play that high a percentage of snaps very often. That is more than 95% of the snaps. Which, on the one hand, it speaks to Zach Charbonnet's stamina, that he was able to gut that out, that he was able to gut out a 70, almost a 70 snap game. On the other hand, it also speaks to our complete lack of confidence in our third and fourth string running backs, because Walker's obviously out. And I wonder how long that's going to be a thing. Kenny McIntosh was the backup running back today, and he was on the field for 2 snaps. And George Holani didn't play at all, even though he was active. And I understand that McIntosh is having issues blocking. I understand that there's some lack of confidence in his ability to pick up the blitz. But you can get him on the field in different contexts to where he doesn't have to even try to block. So I have mixed thoughts on this right now. I definitely understand that when Walker is healthy, he should be getting probably 70% of the snaps. Charbonnet should get about 30, and then there should be very, very little left over for the other two players, because Walker and Charbonnet are clearly your two best guys in the backfield. But for a game like this where Walker's just out, the fact that you have no confidence in McIntosh, and I know the pass protection is very mediocre right now, so you need a back who can pick up blitzes and pick up pass rushers. You got to find a way to get McIntosh on the field for at least a little bit of time, I think. So, very interesting decision here. It worked out on a fundamental level because we won the game, but this is not really sustainable. Okay, wide receivers, pretty much in line with expectations. DK leads the way, 61 snaps out of 70, so he played a pretty large majority of the game. JSN in second place with 58. And Lockett actually played a lot in this game. He played a lot more than he played against Denver. Maybe that's because he's healthier. Maybe he's starting to make a little bit of progress on that thigh injury. So 57 snaps out of 70. Do the math. It kind of becomes clear that this was just a game where, because we didn't have Walker, we wanted to go 3 receiver heavy, and we were in 3 receivers for a lot of the game. Jake Bobo got 14 snaps, so his share actually went down pretty significantly from even last week. So you can see that after a Denver game where the Seahawks were doing certain things with their formations in terms of like having a lot of tight ends out there, they scaled that back a little bit in favor of getting receivers on the field a lot. And you can see the 3 guys that they ultimately really trust. And that's nothing against Jake Bobo. It's just not the direction that we went in this particular game. Chenault got 3 snaps, so we're still trying to figure out what to do exactly with Chenault. I think the issue is when he's on the field, it's a tell that he's going to get the ball in a very particular way. So we might need to get him on the field for more snaps, and that might come at the expense of Bobo snaps, because we need Chenault to be on the field without getting the ball sometimes, so it's not an automatic tell. And no other receiver got any snaps, so pretty much, I mean, you can see who we still trust. Like, Lockett didn't do a ton in this game. He drew a couple of nice penalties, and he had a great catch in overtime, but he was quiet otherwise, and you can still see how much he's still on the field. Tight ends, very simple here. Noah Fant, 57 snaps out of 70. Rough game for Noah Fant, by the way. obviously, but he continues to be by far the highest used tight end. AJ Barner, 25 snaps. So a little bit of a lower share than he had last week. He hasn't had a very good start to his career, but not unexpected. He'll come around. He'll be fine. And Brady Russell had 6 snaps, and some of those snaps are coming where he's basically playing fullback. He's in the backfield. I've noticed that. So when Pharaoh Brown gets back, that's probably completely gone. When Pharaoh Brown gets back, I assume AJ Barner is going to see way fewer snaps. So don't get used to it. Pharaoh Brown should be back soon. And then we get to the offensive line where we do actually have a little bit of a rotation going on, it seems like, because to my knowledge, Anthony Bradford did not get hurt yesterday, and yet we still saw Christian Haynes on the field. So most of this stuff is really boring. Cross, Tomlinson, Williams, Forsyth all played the whole game. Nothing really to talk about there. They were healthy, and they're the best options we have. But Bradford played 55 snaps, played poorly again. Christian Haynes played 15 snaps, and honestly didn't play very well either. It's it's tough right now because, yes, I know that Christian Haynes is the new guy, and I know people are all very excited to see the new guy and want to see him come in and do better than what we're getting right now out of Anthony Bradford. But Christian Haynes also has way more experience playing the position because of how much he played in college compared to Bradford. So at the same time, even though Bradford's been in the league for a year, it's kind of a little more head scratching that Haynes is having this many problems when he's such a high experience player from college. So I understand why they're not going to him yet. I understand why they haven't pulled the plug on Tomlinson or Bradford yet. So honestly, I don't know. It's tough right now. I know everybody's kind of like put Haynes in, put Haynes in, put Haynes in, and I lean that way as well. I want Haynes to actually get a full-time game or two here to see what's up, but I don't think it's necessarily as easy as people are saying. All right, so that's the offense. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward over here. Let's jump on over to the defensive side of the ball, where the Seahawks played 68 total snaps. 68 snaps, which means, by the way, through 2 games, they have achieved equilibrium, 137 on both sides, 137 snaps on offense, 130 snaps on defense. Not bad. So, defensive line, let's start over on that side. Leonard Williams played a lot yesterday, 52 snaps, which it's early in the season, it's fine. Hopefully, by the end of the year, a guy like a Mike Morris is playing enough to where he doesn't have to play more than 50 snaps in a game. Like, through 2 games, he's played about 71% of the snaps. That's fine, but he is an older player. I am mindful of the fact that that number, if it's allowed to stay up there, is going to affect his play later in the season. And through 2 games, he's been remarkable. Big Cat's been probably our best player on defense in my mind. Byron Murphy also played pretty well, 38 snaps. So that's staying in line with kind of what I'm expecting. He's playing slightly more than half the game, but only slightly. And I think that's probably where we should be trying to stay. Let's be careful with this. Let's be cautious with this. Sorry about that, guys. My phone rang. Had to go get it. But yeah, Byron Murphy continues to play slightly more than half of the game, which I think is a good place for him to be. Jaron Reed also playing slightly more than half the game, 37 snaps out of 68. And he's up to about 58.5% through the first 2 games. So that's where we're living right now. Those are the 3 main guys, which is fine. Jonathan Hankins played 27 snaps as well, so he's coming in with a pretty decent amount of burn in this game. It was actually a little bit more than the previous game, but he's up to about a third of the snaps. And then we don't really have anybody else. Mike Morris, after I think playing fairly decently against the Broncos, really didn't get to play. He played 2 snaps in this game, no real impact. So I hope that at some point this season, Mike Morris is instilling enough confidence in this coaching staff to where he can actually play at least double-digit snaps a game. And I'd be interested to know why they felt like they couldn't put him out there in this game. Miles Adams played 1 snap, by the way, so he was active, and he did get to play a little bit, but there's not much to say. Ian Bars, nothing. Cameron Young, obviously still hurt. Nothing there. And that's your defensive line. So it's good. It's good. One guy's over 70%. And the guy who's over 70% is not over 71%. Okay, linebacker. There was some trouble on this side, right? Because you had Jerome Baker, only played 21 snaps, and then he got hurt. Off to a pretty decent start in this game, as near as I could tell. And, I mean, the run defense completely collapsed in that second half, it felt like. So without Baker, they struggled. And I'm not saying anything negative about Tyrice Knight necessarily. I don't think Tyrice Knight did anything bad. I'm not even saying that the run defense would have been bulletproof if Baker played that whole game. But it does seem to me that there was a negative effect. And you would expect that, right? You're going from Jerome Baker, a veteran, to Tyrice Knight, a day 3 rookie. So 21 snaps. Dodson plays the whole game. So he's played every snap so far this year. Dodson played pretty good. And then Tyrice Knight, 44 snaps. So welcome to the NFL. I don't think he played poorly. I'm not down on him. I do think Baker would have played better, but I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. And then the other 3 linebackers, I mean, not playing on defense. Drake Thomas is playing special teams. O'Connell and Barrett. I mean, Barrett's not even on the team anymore. I could probably just delete this row at this point. I don't think he's coming back. And if he does, then he's obviously not going to play right now. Okay, moving on to the edge rushers here. I liked what I saw this week better. I think this is a better place to be for the Seahawks. And again, it worked, right? You can't say that it didn't work as well as it did last week. It worked about as well. We got consistent pressure on Brissett pretty much that whole game. Mafe got 50 snaps, so his share of snaps went down significantly, and he ceded snaps to Derek Hall, who got almost as many snaps. So Mafe and Hall were almost in equilibrium, which is awesome, and that's the kind of stuff I want to see because it means that we have equivalent trust in both guys to hold up, and both guys, to my eyes, played quite well. So I know Mafe's better, and I know Mafe's a more exciting player right now because he's living in the backfield. I don't know if you can say that about Derek Hall, but we need to be able to trust Derek Hall to play a lot right now until Nwosu gets back. And just because a guy's much better than another guy, that doesn't mean he should play way more when you're talking about the edge. You don't want Mafe to be exhausted by the end of a game. Draymond Jones, 35 snaps, so he's getting his share. He's getting about half, a little bit more than half of the snaps, and I think he's doing adequate. And then you don't really have too much else. Gibson gets 7 snaps in this game, so I guess it's non-trivial, but pretty insignificant overall. And that's it for the edge group. Cornerback, moving on to cornerback, really easy here. 66 and 66 for Witherspoon and Woolen. So there were 2 plays where we had no corners on the field, goal line package or something like that. And then you had Trey Brown at 39 snaps, which is more than half, but not by much, which is indicative of the fact that the New England Patriots did not go 3 receivers. And honestly, I don't even know if they went 2 receivers that often in this game because they don't have receivers and they want to use their tight ends. So this was a game where a guy like Trey Brown was always going to get kind of left to the side. And nothing for anybody else. Julian Love plays the whole game. Rayshon Jenkins plays the whole game, as you would expect. Kayvon Wallace gets 13 snaps, which is actually a little bit more than he played last week. So even though New England was going tight end heavy and wasn't going deep with their receivers the way Denver was at points, you can still see that 3 safety sets and getting Kayvon on the field is going to be a small part of the equation here. So, pretty good, man. What you would kind of expect, I think, against a team like the Patriots with the way they're playing football right now. All right, that is your snap counts for Monday. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys later. We got some PFF stuff to go into a little bit later today. So thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content, click the bell, consider becoming a channel member for $2 a month. Go Hawks. More videos coming soon. It's still Victory Monday, guys.